What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to today's late night agenda. Obviously, starting at 6:30 today, because as promised to one of our viewers, I said I'd do a watch along of the Wales game against Belgium, and I'm as good as my word, and I will be doing it. How are we? Nice to see you all in, and look, Tyler Boy B, good looking out, dude. Appreciate that. He was letting me know in the chat that StreamYard was down, but thankfully I'm on OBS today, my man, so it is all good. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. We really do. We have to talk about the latest Haaland talk from Steve McManaman. We'll talk about Raheem Sterling. We'll talk about the injury crisis that we're currently going through at the club, and lots of other stuff in between. But as always, gotta start off the stream in the right way. Gotta say, Christmas is coming, the goose is getting fat, please put a penny in the old man's hat, and all of that leads me straight to Manscaped. Ladies and gentlemen, the Performance Package 4.0 is my favourite product. If you're gonna get somebody a gift this Christmas, and you have a few quid to spend, look no further. The Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped is truly fantastic value. You get the Lawnmower 4.0, which is the main shaver, shall we say, for... You also get the Weed Whacker, which is the ear and nose hair trimmer. And if you're like me, I do have a rather hairy nose, so I do use the Weed Whacker quite a bit. You get the Ball Toner, which I'm reliably informed by Paddy Murphy is absolutely brilliant. You get the Ball Deodorant, you get the Boxer Briefs, and you get the Shed Travel Bag. But most importantly, with our discount code WFM20, you also get 20% off anything store-wide at manscaped.com and free shipping. How are we? Right, where do we want to go? What do we want to talk about first? Because I'm in a great mood today, folks. I'm in a great mood. I've been on a waiting list for a procedure for 3 years now. Finally today, got the letter and the phone call from the hospital to say that I can go ahead and get my procedure done in the relatively near future. Tickety-boo. Now, I know what you're all thinking. I know all of you out there thinking that it's a penis reduction surgery. Quite understandable. When you discuss bins and the big Irish nut syndrome, you think they go hand in hand. It isn't quite that. But if only. Chance to be a fine thing, ladies and gentlemen. Chance to be a fine thing. No, it's not a nose thing. Look, I'll be quite frank. It's a little bit, it's the man boobs. It's the man boobs. You know what? I was really heavy at one point, lost a load of weight, put some weight back on. But I've always had these sagging man boobs that really embarrass me, and I've wanted to get them dealt with. So, hopefully, we'll be getting them dealt with, and no more man boobs, fingers crossed. But look, let's talk about Haaland. That's what the Krabby Chronicle wants to do. He said, let's talk about Haaland, right? Clickbait again? No, not clickbait, mate. I'm not even into the stream yet. Do you know what I mean? I'm a minute into the stream, and you're already shiting on with your clickbait, mate. I will entertain you, football, because how dare you just use football as you can't talk for the whole of football, mate. That's not fair. But look, mate, I have an article to back it up, as I always do. And you know what? I like that you're looking out for the YouTube community, mate. I like that you're trying to knock these clickbait things on the head. I respect it, I do. But the Haaland stuff isn't me saying Liverpool are signing Haaland, so just bear with me, my man, bear with me. Right, we'll pull up the article now. So, Steve McManaman has issued a transfer warning to Liverpool over one of the recent pieces of gossip. The Reds continue to be linked with a host of players, such as Adeyemi, blah-de-blah-de-blah. Karim Adeyemi has reportedly been targeted by Liverpool, while Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund are also said to be interested. Reports in recent days have suggested that a move to Bayern is most likely, although joining Liverpool is appealing to Adeyemi. Again, just going back to what I told you guys before any of these chancers jumped on board the ship, I told you Adeyemi was going to go to Germany, but we'll move on from that one. Despite Adeyemi scoring 15 goals in 22 games this season, Steve McManaman believes Liverpool would be wise to look elsewhere in the transfer market. The former Liverpool and Real Madrid star argued that while we would be better off, we'd be better off signing Haaland over Adeyemi should the interest be genuine. Now, look, what Steve McManaman doesn't mention in this piece is that signing Adeyemi would be probably 20% of the overall fee with wages and transfer to signing young Erling Haaland. So look, I don't know what I get what Steve McManaman's trying to say, and of course, Steve McManaman, maybe a lot of you guys are too young to remember, but what a footballer Steve McManaman was. Certainly knows a decent attacking player when he sees one. But look, Adeyemi would be great, and we'd all welcome him with the club, but I don't think that we're going to sign him because of what I said before. I think Adeyemi ends up in Germany, but I do think that there's no way we can afford Erling Haaland. Look, it's lovely to be linked with these players. Well, is it actually? Do you know what I'm saying? It's lovely, but it's not. It's actually fucking frustrating, if I'm being honest with you, because we all know it isn't going to happen. As my friend Football in the chat there said, as you guys know, when you see the title straight away, you're thinking, surely not more nonsense about us signing. We're not going to sign him. So I guess my point is kind of to back up what you guys are saying. There's no point in us talking about the links to Erling Haaland because we simply aren't going to sign him. Not only because of, well, look, the €75 million release clause is there. They're trying to get that amended to make it a little bit higher. So he'll stay at the club maybe one more year and they'll get more money. There's also the talk of Mino Raiola wanting a wage for any potential Erling Haaland move. And yes, you heard me right. I did say a wage. So look, as great a player as he is, as close to a guaranteed signing as it would be for any football club, I don't think the football club would be Liverpool. And unfortunately, with Adeyemi, I think he ends up in Germany. So look, that's where I am with the Haaland situation. Jen, thank you for the super chat. Say, Craig, you're so lovely. Hope your procedure goes well. Thank you. I don't even know, Jen, when it will be. I just know that I finally gotten the go-ahead for it. We have a thing here in Ireland called a treatment purchase fund, where if you've been on a waiting list, for a public waiting list for a prolonged period of time, every so often the state gives money to the hospitals and stuff to allow you to go private to get the treatment, and that will be the case for me. I think it'll be Blackrock Clinic probably for me for that one. But yeah, thank you, Jed, much appreciated. What else we got? Craig, have I heard that Abamiang is injured? No, I haven't. But look, I never wish an injury on a player, but Abamiang being injured, would that benefit us the weekend? Yeah, probably would, but I think we should be looking to beat Arsenal anyway. On the injury front, we had a little bit, well, this isn't an injury concern really, but a little bit of good news, I suppose, in that Mohamed Salah only played an hour for Egypt in their dead rubber match against Gabon. So, you know, rather than getting the full 90 minutes in his legs, good that Mo only got an hour in his legs. Would have been better if we didn't have any time, but hey, look, Mo's back. Mo's going to be good. That's good to go. Loads of people were asking me about Harvey Elliot as well. Obviously, a lot of people have seen Harvey Elliot out and about on the Kirby training pitch, doing a little bit of running, and rather, got excited, and rightly so. We're all dying for Harvey Elliot to get back. But the word from the club is basically what they've said all along. No timescale's been put on Harvey Elliott's return to the matchday squad. They do, again, reiterate what they've said before, that he will be fit to play games before the end of the season. Now, look, that is as broad a period of time as you could possibly say. What does before the end of the season mean? Does it mean April? Does it mean January? Does it mean... I don't know, is the honest answer. Look, from people I've spoken to about the situation with Harvey Elliott, the fact that he's out on the pitch running is a good sign, but he still has a lot more to do to make sure that the muscles around the ankle can cope with the swift changes in direction, the pressure put on the body, all that kind of stuff. And that's before he starts building up match fitness. So, I would be surprised to see Harvey Elliott. I'd be pleasantly surprised to see him back this year, as in 2021. If not, I think we'll probably see him January, February time. But look, that's just me having a guess at it. But again, just an update on Harvey Elliott for those who are wondering about him. What else have we got? Loads of other stuff. There's some transfer gossip around Raheem Sterling. And look, again, we know that Raheem Sterling's not going to be coming to Liverpool, but it doesn't stop people talking about him. El Nacional said that the Manchester City striker is, of course, a target for Barcelona, which we all know about. They go on to the report where he speaks about still loving Liverpool or still finding a place in his heart for Liverpool. But look, we all know we aren't going to buy him for Manchester City. We're not going to pay Raheem Sterling's wages. How Barca could potentially afford him? They talk about a potential loan with an obligation to buy, but look, we'll wait and see. It does look like Raheem Sterling has slipped down the pecking order a little bit at Manchester City. But look, where he moves to next, hey, I don't know. Right, into the chat for a bit before we move on to some more stories. It was only 30 minutes, Craig, and I love that from Egypt. Thank you, Smith Boy. The article I read said that he played for an hour, but look, hey, dude, if it was 30 minutes, that's even better. Yeah, that's even better. So, yeah, great that Mo didn't pick up a knock. On the other injury concern players, so James Pearce of The Athletic has been tweeting, and he said Sadio Mane is absolutely fine. Yes, you heard that right. Let me repeat that for anybody who's a little bit concerned, because I fucking love saying it. Sadio Mane is absolutely fine. Rejoice, people, rejoice. Sadio's going to be grand. That's brilliant news. But the news on Curtis Jones isn't quite as positive, albeit not too bad. Sadio Mane is fine, but Curtis Jones now to be sidelined for a few more weeks with the eye injury. Club doctor Jim Moxon said the important thing to emphasise is there is no lasting damage and his vision won't be impacted beyond the recovery period. So, great news that Sadio Mane is going to be fine and available for the gaffer. Not such great news that obviously Curtis Jones' recovery is taking a little bit longer. But look, let's be fair about this. It's the dude's vision. You've got to be careful with it. You know what I mean? You only get 2 eyes for your life. And I think the club are right to make sure that he's taken his time, and it's great that there will be no lasting damage as well for Curtis. So yeah, let's just wait on that one. Let's just see what happens, really. Annual bashing of Arsenal at Anfield, please. Hope Mo bags a hat-trick, said the offensive defender. Is it just me that isn't in the slightest bit worried about this game at the weekend? I know Arsenal fans watching might go, look at this arrogant arsehole, but I'm kind of with the offensive defender. It is time for the annual destroying of Arsenal at Anfield. I'm not at all worried about Arsenal at the weekend. Not at all. Not even like 1%. I was far more concerned with Brighton than I am with Arsenal. And that could be my own arrogance just getting the better of me. I don't know what to say about it, but I'm not bothered about them. I honestly think we'll give them a kicking. Right, some more talk. What was this one about? No, we'll get to that one in a minute, actually. What's this one here? You're right, so on Jordan Henderson. So Jordan Henderson, Sadio Mane, James Milner were all spotted being put through their paces today at Kirby. Hendo was training separately, having been released from the England squad over the weekend after suffering a minor issue following the 5-0 win over Albania. So we'll have to wait and see what the update is. But the fact that he was out doing some work is a positive. I don't want to give people false hope. I don't want to say he's 100% available for the game or not. At this moment in time, I don't know. You guys might know. And if you do, by all means, please do let me know in the chat. Or if you're watching this back later on in the comment section. But again, great news. So Milner back training. Sadio Mane back training. Jordan Henderson training separately from the rest of the team, but still out training. No news on Andy Robertson that I have yet, big man. But look, can I be entirely honest? Either way, even if Robbo was fit, and look, I touch wood that he is fit and that it's nothing too serious. But either way, I probably would have gone with Kostas Tsimikas this weekend. I was saying that last week to you guys as well. So look, no confirmed news that I have yet on Andy Robertson. As soon as I know, of course, you guys will know. Keep an eye on the Anfield Agenda, Instagram and TikTok for further updates. And Twitter as well, of course. Robbo needs a rest and Kostas deserves a chance, says Hayden. I agree with you on both counts, mate. I do. I mean, look, speaking with James yesterday on the Cop of the Week show, which was a banger, by the way. If you didn't get a chance to watch it, do check it out. Last night, myself, Steve Bland, James Redmond had the weekly Cop of the Week show where we went in detail into players' peak ages, how much money clubs could spend before they get into FFP issue, and lots of other interesting stuff. But one of the stats that James spoke about last night was the record with Kostas Tsimikas in the team. 6 games, 6 wins, 6 clean sheets, I believe James said. So the omens are good, and it's Arsenal, so why not? Why not? Let unleash Kostas Tsimikas at Anfield to graze on Arsenal. Why not, ladies and gentlemen? Why not? Hey Craig, could I be shouted out? I watch stream every time. Love your content. Caleb, of course you can, my man. Welcome. Thank you for the kind words as well. News on Naby Keita. I'm not aware that he's back in contention yet, Ellis. Yeah, I'm not aware that he's back in contention yet. So again, just to reiterate, James Milner training, Sadio Mane absolutely sound training, Jordan Henderson training, but training separately from the rest of the team. So keep an eye on that one. We'll wait and see what happens. I'm sure we'll get an update in the coming days on that one. We've already spoken about the Steve McManaman thing, and I will move on to the Premier League chairman in a few minutes. But yeah, so again, for those coming in wondering about the title of the stream, it was Steve McManaman who was recommended that rather than looking at the likes of Adeyemi or other good, promising young players, best for Liverpool to try and go for what is basically a guarantee if you signed Erling Haaland, that he would fit in and be the perfect striker at the club. Again, don't have a go at me. I'm not suggesting we can afford Erling Haaland, but I do agree, and I think everybody would agree, that going out there and signing Erling Haaland would be amazing and would be as close to a guarantee as any club could get to to bringing in a striker at his age that'll do bits. So look, I'd love it. Don't believe it's going to happen. But hey, while he hasn't signed for anybody else, while there's a 75 million release clause, we're allowed to dream a little bit. But then you're brought back down to earth when you realise Mino Raiola is his agent. What have we got? Andorra's Revenge said Haaland at LFC would be scary. Mate, ridiculous is what I'd say. Ridiculous. Imagine Salah one side, let's say Sadio on the other side, let's say Jota, either one, and Erling Haaland through the centre, with Harvey Elliot in behind, with Thiago, with Fabi. Oh, stop, will you? I'm honestly, I'm getting a little bit too excited. I'm gonna have to stop the conversation. Craig, would you take Mbappe or Haaland? Personally, I'd take Erling. You know what, Caleb? Interestingly, you asked me that question a year ago, even 6 months ago, and I'm probably saying to you, I'm taking Kylian Mbappe every day of the week. And look, Mbappe, I still think is absolutely amazing, but I see little glitches, little chinks in his personality type that makes me doubt. Dare I say that he'd be a team player? Is that unfair? I don't know. I've more doubts about him now than I had a year ago, and I think maybe the way the PSG situation is unfolding makes me think, yeah, I don't know. Sabrina, get the tissues. There you go. David's old school. David Coleman's old school. I remember shouting that very time. Right. That would be a joke. We'd win the league by December, said Smithy Boy. It would. Yeah, I believe Abamiang is injured, Michael. Yes, from what my good friends in the chat here have been saying, I believe that he is injured. I think it's easier in League 1 than the Bundesliga, so I take Haaland, said Louis. Yeah, I mean, that's fair, but look, Kylian Mbappe did on the international stage as well. I mean, he banged himself, I think, 4 the other night for France, first half hat-trick, if I remember correctly. Although Harry Kane did that as well, and I don't want Harry Kane at Liverpool. Hayden said, Craig, my opinion, January, I think the main priority is tying our players down to contracts. Oh, jeez, mate, no, not again. Don't be doing that to us, man. Don't be doing that to us. Yeah, look, I think we all have a feeling that we'll probably end up getting Mohamed Salah's contract renewal done in that window, or in and around that window. And look, I've always been fairly open in saying that I don't think we sign anybody in January. I know that's not what anybody wants to hear, but again, my rationale behind this was, why wouldn't we have done it in the summer? You know, we knew the AFCON was coming up. We knew that was going to happen. By the way, a little bit of an update on Bobby Firmino that I forgot to mention when I was talking about the injury updates. Connor just sent it to me before it was coming on. It looks like middle of December is the latest update for Bobby Firmino's return, which in one way is good news. Of course, in another way, it's not good news. You never want Bobby to be injured, but knowing that we will at least have him available by the time the boys are going off to the AFCON, does give us some solace, I suppose. John said, been watching Anfield Agenda from the start. Love the show. Keep it going. Mate, thank you so much. Sometimes, I won't lie, I am competitive and I am petty at times. And just before I was doing the stream today, I had 15-20 minutes to spare. So rather unusually for me, I jumped onto YouTube and I just started having a scroll through my phone. And when you think your channel's doing well, so you've 100 and something thousand subscribers and you get regular decent views, and you look at it and you think, wow. Then you go on YouTube and you're brought back down to reality. You see the Sidemen, you see the millions of views. I seen the video that really got to me, the video that made me realise you're a nothing, is Goldbridge makes a cup of tea, and I think it's 78,000 views, something like that. 78,000. That's watch along numbers for us, and a good watch along. And I've seen my good mate Mark making a cup of tea, getting 78,000 viewers. Just brought me back down to earth with a big bang to say, fuck. Do you know what I mean? There's still a long way to go. A long way to go. But I hope you agree. Indulging myself for a minute here, I think the team that we've started to put together an Anfield agenda with James, with Chris, with Paddy, with Jack, with Steve, with Kyle, and obviously Connor and myself, I'm hoping that we make that explosion through to the next level, that we get up, start pushing towards the United stands, the AFTVs, the True Geordies of this world in the future. So basically, if you like the channel, if you're in school, you've got mates who are Liverpool fans or enjoy a laugh, just basically let them know about Anfield Agenda, because the hardest thing to do is to market yourself in this industry. So if you guys can help us out with that one, that would be absolutely amazing. Just let people know where they can find us, and we'll do the rest. We'll do the rest, you good people. Right, Craig, Messi or Ronaldo? I've always been in the Messi camp, but I appreciate the greatness of both as footballers. But I've always been one for Messi personally. But look, I look at it like this: Leo, I think, is the more gifted footballer. But Cristiano Ronaldo, I don't think there's a footballer on the planet who has worked as hard as Cristiano Ronaldo has to hone his talent. So, you're talking about the two GOATs of a generation. But for me, it's always been Messi. It's just probably the Barcelona link, to be honest with you, for me as well. Because I'm a fan of Barcelona, the only other club after Liverpool that I look out for. So, yeah, for me, it's always been Leo. You will definitely get bigger. The only way is up. Thank you. Thank you, guys. It's... Caleb said, could I be a moderator? Love your content. You know what, Caleb? Yes. Yes, sir. We got rid of a few moderators recently enough. So yes. So yeah, shout out to all our moderators, by the way, and thank you for your amazing help. Because without our moderators, we wouldn't be able to keep the chat as friendly as it has. But unfortunately, we've had some issues with moderators over the past few weeks, and we've had to remove chief moderators and other moderators. And I don't want to get into the reasoning behind it, but I also don't like having knife stuck in my back. So, you can read into that whatever you like. What else we got? Craig, would you swap two of the front three for Haaland? I don't think we can afford to swap two players for one. And by that I mean with squad depth. People often say, well, what if we moved on, three midfielders, and they talk about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, they talk about James Milner, and they talk about, I don't know, somebody else. The problem for us is we need squad depth. We need quality squad depth. So, even a 1-for-1 scenario with a forward for me, I'd still say we're still one short. Now, look, bringing in a forward of 22, 23 would certainly be refreshing of the squad's age bracket. But I still think numbers-wise, we need to increase the squad numbers by a couple. Craig, I remember 2018 Man United stream. Shaqiri, can I become a moderator? Sorry to ask, streams what's in every day. Bear with me, Corin, for a minute or for a couple of days, because I don't know where we're at with regards to how many we need, because we haven't had a match in a while. So it's match days really with the moderators. Bernadette in the chat, Bernadette said she resigned as a moderator. Yes, Bernadette absolutely did. I don't really want to go into that issue because I respect Bernadette and I don't really, want to talk about it. But yeah, let's move on. That's the best thing to do. Right, so confirmed Gary Hoffman has resigned. Thank you, Connor, for putting that into the chat, because that was the next topic I was going to speak about. So the Premier League chairman has now resigned. Gary Hoffman has resigned from his role because of the flack that he and the Premier League have come under because of the takeover of Newcastle. So a lot of Premier League clubs very, very unhappy with the fact that that takeover was allowed to happen, and they want a proper regulatory body put in place that doesn't really have to answer to the Premier League. So an autonomous body that is there that can look at this fit and proper persons test, or can look at potential owners of football clubs, and they want somebody to regulate the Premier League, and they believe that the Premier League at this particular moment in time can't really self-regulate because of conflicting interests. So that's kind of where they are with that one. And again, just to confirm right now that Gary Hoffman, who is the Premier League chairman, has resigned from his role after the flack over the Newcastle takeover. The reason he's resigning now is the report from Tracy Crouch, I believe, is due out in the next few days, and that will look at a lot of things with regards to football. So I think they know that the shit's going to hit the fan, and this is the first person being thrown under the bus to try and save face for the Premier League. But look, I'll let you guys have your say on that one. I just wanted to give you the update on it. Is there another show tonight? I'm going to do a watch along of the Wales-Belgium game on Craig Station. So yeah, I'll be doing a watch along of that from 7:30 if you want to come over and join me on there. And if you want to become a member, there is a link pinned to the top of the live chat right now to become a member of Anfield Agenda FC. It is $4.99 a month, like most other channels. You get the emojis, you get into the Discord group, and all the other fun stuff as well that we speak about. Can we get Marino, is what Xbox Pro said. We've been linked with them, mate. So we've been linked with them. One of the reasons why the Marino link caught my eye was, look, Real Sociedad have a very good team at the minute, and I'll be honest, I didn't even know he'd been at Newcastle till somebody told me previously. But the reason the Marino link caught my eye is I think he has a 51 million quid release clause in his contract. So if you're looking around for young, capable midfielders, and we know that Jude Bellingham's example might be about €100 million, €120 million. If Marino was available for about 51, I haven't scouted him, so I honestly don't know how good the guy is or isn't. But certainly do remember seeing an article, mate, that said he had a 51 million quid release clause. And yeah, so look, let me know what you guys think on that one as well. There was something else. Oh, Barking Exterminator said, Craig, I'm gutted because Romania missed out World Cup qualifiers by 1 point to North Macedonia. Will you be doing the Holland versus Norway tonight? No, be doing Wales-Belgium. Wales-Belgium for that one. I did. Somebody asked me the other day would I do the Wales-Belgium one, and I made a promise. So, as good as I said. But we will keep you up to date, of course, with all of the games. So please do come across 7:30 on Craig Station, which is our other channel. Link in the description. We'll see you over there for that. But look, we've still got time to go on this one, so do keep your comments coming in, please, folks. Sorry, just trying to click on a few bits here. How good is Vlahovic? You see, this is interesting, Chris. Or excuse me, Chase, my man. So I've seen bits and pieces of Vlahovic. I won't lie and say that I watch a lot of Fiorentina, mate, because I don't. But other people have, and our friends at LFC Transfer Room have been looking into him. I've done scouting reports on Vlahovic, and speaking with Chris Stonage, who is of course both a member of Anfield Agenda and worked with LFC Transfer Room as well. Chris doesn't rate him. Chris doesn't think he'd fit in our system, which intrigued me because I did see a lot of Liverpool fans speaking about Vlahovic. But, on top of that, and look, I won't speak to whether it suits the system or not because I haven't seen enough of him. But what I can say is I have seen enough rumours to say that Fiorentina are going to look for about 80 million quid for Vlahovic. And if that's the case, I'm sorry, but there's much better value out there than 80 million quid. So yeah, let's just hang off and see what happens there on Vlahovic. But look, if you're going to spend that much money, surely you're going to go and try and get Federico Chiesa. If you had 80 million quid burning a hole in your pocket, to me, Federico Chiesa will be a great one. Also, bit of an update. I did say to you guys that Gavin Bazunu was going to sign a jersey for me. That jersey arrived today, so I'm going to stick it in the post. I got the Ireland Keepers jersey today. Going to send it off to get the name and number on it. And then thank you to Paddy Murphy for arranging this for me, by the way. I'm going to send it over to Mr. Bazunu to sign it for me, and it's going to take pride of place in my living room. So much appreciated, Paddy. Much appreciated, Gavin. And yeah, this is going to be something I cherish, because I tell you what, Gavin Bazunu he's destined for the top. What a goalkeeper. I know I keep banging on about him, but I was fully expecting Queevy to be the next Irish goalkeeper, but Gavin got his chance. Lovely story to see him go from Shamrock Rovers over to City on loan to Portsmouth. And yeah, nice one. Are you on this channel for the Wales game? No, mate, it's going to be Craig Station. There is a link in the description to that channel. Liz said, can you give Molly, Dermot's daughter, a shout? They're on the way home from hospital. Of course. Molly, how are you? I hope that you're okay. I know with Liz there, as a shoulder to talk to and somebody to put an arm around your shoulder, you will be okay. But Molly, from all of us, we're really, really saddened to hear what's happened. Lots of love to you, and thank you to Liz for looking out as always. Liz is a wonderful, wonderful woman and a fantastic member of our community as well. Do you guys think Thiago will get sold? I mentioned this last night, Xbox Pro, on the stream, and I think I was in the minority when I said I would understand if Liverpool explored the option of selling him to Barcelona. And let me explain why before people jump down my throat. It's not that I don't think Thiago is an amazing footballer. Of course, Thiago Alcantara is an amazing footballer. But I'm just at a point where I look at our midfield and I just see too many injuries and not enough consistency of selection. And the consistency of selection comes from those injury problems for me. So if we're to look at refreshing our squad and bringing in money, if we were offered a ridiculous fee for Thiago, and let's not forget, we got him for very cheap, 25 million quid because of, the contract situation with Bayern Munich. I'm not saying I'd do it, but I'd certainly say I'd listen. I'd listen to it. Particularly if they wanted to give us Frankie de Jong. Do you know what I mean? If they were that desperate, I mean, you can have Thiago and we could have Frankie de Jong. But look, obviously Thiago Alcantara is an amazing footballer. But how many times have we been able to field our strongest midfield? And look, I suppose you can argue what the strongest midfield options are. To me, it's one of two. It's either Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson, or Fabinho, Thiago, and I can't believe I'm saying this because he's so young, but Harvey Elliot. So I think the right-hand side, whether it be through Jordan Henderson or Harvey Elliott, I think that position in midfield is sewn up because both the guys have a really good relationship with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mohamed Salah in the way that they attack, the way they play little triangles, and the way that they overlap. On the left-hand side, I look at it and I think that's the side that's up for grabs. So Naby Keita, when he's fit and available, sound. Thiago, when he's fit and available, sound. After that, I don't think we have a natural fit. Curtis Jones can absolutely do a very good job on the left side of the midfield trio. But I'm not sure of having two really, really young midfielders ahead of Fabinho in midfield, if that's the right call. I think somebody 25, 26, 27 probably be a better fit. So that's where when I'm talking about I would listen to it, it's because I feel if we can nail down somebody for the left side of the midfield trio, I think we're good. I think we're good to go. So yeah, that's my thinking. And I hope that makes some sense because I love Thiago. Absolutely love the lad. Off topic, but did you see Max Holloway fight? Yes, I did see the Max Holloway fight. He was calling it McGregor after it, if I'm not mistaken. 7 a.m. said, Vlahovic will be expensive, but he's a young Harry Kane. Tall, strong, great on the ball, passing range, heads left-footed, right foot, dribbles. Do you know what? Jack Gill has been... You know the way I love a little... I love a train, shall we say. Jack Gill has been banging the drum for a long time for Alexander Isak from Sweden. And look, can I just say, I don't get it. I don't get the fuss. I've watched... It must be 10 games now of Alexander Isak. Probably 7 of them for Sweden. Maybe 2 or 3 for Real Sociedad. I don't see it. I don't see the hype that many others are speaking about this guy. Putting him up there with the next great things in an attacking sense. Speaking about him as a young Ibrahimovic. And I don't see it. I've yet to see anything from that kid, for me, that warrants the hype. And look, there was a story yesterday in the media that said Liverpool could possibly look to do a 40 million quid deal. They're not going to sell him for 40 million quid. They gave him a new contract because they were worried about only having a 75 million euro release clause, or 70 million euro release clause, and that was before the Euros. They wanted to do it. Then they actually got it renewed after the Euro. So I don't see any way Real Sociedad are going to entertain doing business at the 40 million quid that was mentioned. And that's before we get into the fact that I still don't think he's good enough yet. 6-0 Gill is a glass half full guy for sure. He is. Gotta love Jack. Gotta love a bit of Jack positivity. And get well soon, by the way, Jack, because he's been smothering with a head cold. There's only hype because the rest of the team is average and he's just above average. Well, with Sociedad, they have a very good team. I don't know if you're talking about the Swedish national team, but with Real Sociedad, you know, Arrazabal, very good footballer as well. And I think the group that Real Sociedad have together now is a very good group. Lucas Paqueta is overlooked, quality midfielder. I feel like the ship has sailed on Paqueta. I remember him being hyped all right when he first broke through, but I have to say, I've certainly overlooked him, so, you know, fair point on that one. FSG are the problem. Yeah, look, we spoke last night on the stream, and the title of the stream, I thought was fair, to be fair, but the title of the stream was that Liverpool could spend 273 million quid. Now let me explain what that was about. I spoke about the wiggle room for FFP. Spurs can spend, they won't spend, but theoretically, Spurs could spend 400 million quid before they start to come into any issues around FFP. Liverpool's wiggle room, as of Kieran Maguire, football finance expert, is 273 million quid. So, look, we're not spending 273 million quid. I'm not even saying that the club have 273 million quid. Well, actually, I am saying that they have 273 million quid, but... And the reason I say that is because of the investment that FSG took on when they sold that 11% for 500 and something million dollars, I think it was. So, theoretically, there is a lot of money lying around somewhere in FSG's accounts. But... to hear that we could spend that much without getting into FFP issues really made me think what balance we need to try and strike with regards to expenditure. And look, these things aren't straightforward, of course they're not. You know, when you take into account the money that's spent on the main stand or the Annie Road end or Kirby or, you know, any of these projects, they don't come into consideration against FFP because they're capital projects and FIFA and UEFA deem them to be increasing the value of the club so they don't come afoul of FFP regulations, which I think is the right call. So to see that Liverpool have that much wiggle room, I think it only made me feel that as a fan, and just a fan and an idiot, let me just put that out there, I'd like to see them roll the dice a little bit and have one window where we splurge a little bit, because we've been amazing in the transfer market and we've been frustrating in the transfer market, but more often than not, we've hit the target with the sales and the purchases that we've made. So I would like to see a summer where Jurgen Klopp gets a chance to really refresh the squad, the age bracket of the squad, and a couple of positions that need freshening up. And to hear that FFP isn't the thing that's stopping us, then it has to be the owners just looking at the balance sheet and just not wanting to spend the money. Because yes, you're taking on debt. If let's say we borrowed 150 million quid and spent it on players, we wouldn't fall afoul of FFP, but look, you still have 150 million quid worth of debt that needs to be addressed on top of the wages and all of that type of stuff. But it both made me happy and it annoyed me, because 273 million quid, like as an example, at the other end of the scale, Everton are already in trouble. If Everton had European football as an example, they'd have a case to answer because they're 35 or 36 million quid in the black. So they're in trouble. Or in the red. I'm not sure which way that phrase goes. Anyway, they're 35 million quid the wrong side of wiggle room. So yeah, there you go. You know, it's not to say we're going to spend it, because I don't think we will, but it's just to say that we could theoretically spend it. How about Anthony from Ajax, said Norman. You know, it's his first year at Ajax, moved from Brazil. He's only 21 years of age. But look, Norman, I'd be lying if I said to you that he hasn't impressed me in what I've seen of him. And look, you know, Ajax have a great talent for bringing through and nurturing younger players and turning them into superstars. And Anthony certainly looks like one to keep an eye on, because he's had a great start to his career, both the Eredivisie obviously and in the Champions League with Ajax. For those just asking about mods, and there are a few, don't need any just at the minute, but again, ask me on Saturday when the match is on, because that's really when we know if we need moderators, extra moderators or not. Anything on Joe Gomez injury? No, not for me, Cringe. Not that I'm aware of, mate. Certainly not anything I've read today anyway. All this talk, though, I hope we get anyone at this point. Oh, look, man, I'm with you. It's frustrating because I think what makes it most frustrating for us Liverpool fans at the minute is we're close. Like, we're really close to, I don't want to say perfection, but we're really close to knowing that we can compete in every competition. Because at the minute, we're confident we can compete in every competition. If we don't have major injuries, we can compete in every competition. But the likelihood of going through a season without picking up some major injuries, it's probably more likely to not happen than to happen. So, I think we just know we need, if we could get ourselves a forward, a midfielder, and then replace anybody that leaves on top of that, I think we're not too far away. Hayden said, Craig, I think we were all laughing at Arsenal at the start of the season and now they're right behind us. Don't worry, Hayden. We'll still be laughing at them at the end of the season, mate. And they won't be right behind us for that much longer. They've gone through a relatively easy run of fixtures. But look, full credit to Mikel Arteta. He is certainly improving Arsenal. And with the likes of Smith Rowe and Saka, and even Ramsdale, who I have to say I didn't think was a great signing, but is certainly doing well for Arsenal, they are starting to find their footing a little bit. But I still don't think that they'll be up at the Champions League places come the end of the season. But because we're going to destroy them on Saturday, aren't we? Everybody is in agreement on that one. Going to beat them, just no matter what score. Vlahovic, Max Aarons, Adeyemi. I don't know about Max Aarons, I don't know about Max Aarons. I don't know if Max Aarons will be the answer. 20 points out of the last 24. Yeah, again, as I said, very good run of form, but they haven't been the hardest of fixtures, to be fair. But look, that doesn't matter. It's Premier League, it is competitive, and they do deserve the credit for that run of fixtures, no doubt about it. Can I ask a possible unpopular opinion? Absolutely you can, Daryl. You work away, pal. For those actually talking about Nico in the chat, again, yesterday, I know a lot of people might not have seen it, but we spoke about an article that suggested that Liverpool are considering using Nico Williams in a more advanced role during the AFCON when the lads are away. So you would imagine potentially in a right wing position. What was the score against United? Oh, God. Shit. That many. It was that many. 5-0. 5 past the half, if anyone's wondering what time it is. Can you talk about Haaland? All it basically was, mate, was that Steve McManaman said that rather than looking at the likes of Adeyemi and stuff, we should go all out for the likes of Haaland, who is basically as close to a guarantee as we can get. So that's all it was, really. I'm still waiting for this unpopular opinion before I finish up. I want to give the guy a chance to put it in. Was that it? 1 second. Sorry, I'm still trying to find who's the one that I saw. Yeah, I'm waiting for Daryl. So Daryl, actually in Europe, there it is. Do you think we should have a change of captain? As I believe we need more option in midfield, but Hendo was amazing. I don't think it matters as much as we think it does as fans, to be honest with you, Daryl, because look, if you're in a team like Liverpool, Jordan Henderson's the armband on, but you have Alisson Becker, you have Virgil van Dijk, you've got Andy Robertson, up top, Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane. These are all senior professional footballers, Fabinho. So I would like to think that we would have 5-6 captains out on the pitch, and I never really get too fussed about who has the armband on, because I want my keeper to be talking, I want my centre-back to be talking to the rest of the defence, I want Fabinho to be talking to the midfielders ahead of him, so I don't think there's any need for it, and there's been many football clubs where the captain doesn't play every week, like Carrick at United at one point wasn't playing every week, so I don't think it's that important, to be honest, mate. I think we as fans often put more importance on the captain's role on the pitch than there probably needs to be. But I wouldn't change. My own opinion is I wouldn't change it. I think Jordan Henderson has been an amazing captain of Liverpool Football Club, both on and off the pitch. And look, if his game time does start to wane a little bit, then, you know, step up. James Milner, but I don't mention Milner that much, Edward, because he's not really, you know, doesn't play that often compared to the rest. And certainly I don't think any of us would have Milner in our automatic best midfield. Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, I better go because I've only got a few minutes to set up for the watch-along of the Wales versus Belgium game on Craig Station. So there is a link in the description of the Craig Station. Tomorrow, here's what's coming up. James Redmond and Paddy Murphy are going to be going solo on Anfield Agenda. 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock tomorrow night. James Redmond, Paddy Murphy, the first of a weekly show they're going to be doing together moving forward. No me, just James Redmond, Paddy Murphy, 6 o'clock tomorrow. And then I will see you guys tomorrow at 8:45 for the late night agenda. Really appreciate your time as always. Make sure tomorrow to show up and give the lads some love. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, drop a like on the video. Manscaped.com, 20% off and free shipping. What more do you want this Christmas, ladies and gentlemen? Nobody likes hairy balls. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.